Welcome. This is BGL's Simple Invest 360 presentation. My name's Matt Crofts. Heading up. Okay. Got a lag there. I'm heading up the BGL product team and look after 22 years of product specialist. I am here with Ron today. Ron is CEO and founder of BGL Corporate Solutions. Welcome, Ron.
Morning, Matt.
So today we've got about 45 minutes for those joining us to take you through why BGL really decided to build our Simple Invest cloud solution. I'm going to go through a bit of a demo and show you through the product. So let's make a start.
I was going to say, Matt, let's give it a couple of minutes because everybody's just joining. So we're up to 73 people. So maybe give them a few minutes to log in.
All right, we'll start with a bit of slow housekeeping then, Ron. So
sounds good.
They're just logging in now. Welcome. We're doing the Simple Invest 360 product demonstration today with Ron Lesh. Today, the webinar is being recorded. So if you missed the first couple of seconds, it is getting recorded. You will get an email with the recording of today's webinar, so don't have to furiously take notes. And we've got Andrew Pascoe and Andrew Pereira, who are product specialists, listening in. So feel free to use the question and answer panel to answer your questions. How are we looking now for numbers, Ron? I've got 83 on my screen.
Yep, 84. I was going to say, let's just wait till we get to 100 and then we can keep going.
Okay, well, we'll just switch these slides. Just ticking over nicely now. Just a reminder, you can use the Q&A if you can't hear us or anything. Looks like we've got audio coming through okay. Just raise your hand if there's any issue.
Okay, maybe Matt, let's start.
Okay, so I'm joined by Ron Lesh, CEO and founder of BGL. What I wanted to do today is really have a chat to Ron. Ron's a CA, registered auditor, and been developing software and a lot of experience in the Smsf sector. What I wanted to really ask Ron today was, how long have you been developing investment software at BGL, Ron?
Well, actually, it's interesting. I went back and had a look at some of our early release dates for Simple Invest Desktop and Simple Ledger Desktop. And Simple Ledger Desktop, we actually released in the second half of 1996. And Simple Invest was sort of probably about a year later in the second half of 97. In between that time, we released the first version of Simple Fund Desktop. And then we created a Simple Invest Desktop, which is basically a cut down version of Simple Fund. So it had the automation and the ability to load feeds and all that sort of stuff, but it was all based on the desktop. We then moved. We actually, I suppose, finished Simple Invest as a product. And I was trying to find a date, but it's probably about 15 years ago now, and decided that we'd proceed with Simple Ledger as our investment product on the desktop. And we've got about 300 to 400 clients who use that product all the time. Maybe not always for investment, but for other things as well. So we've sort of been doing this for well over 20 years, 25 years now.
That's incredible. And I don't think a lot of people, people that are new to BGL probably don't realize that you're a developer and were developing these applications, really doing the BA work, doing the testing work, and doing the development work in the early days, Ron.
Yeah, it gave me something to do in my spare time.
And I guess, more recently, I've certainly been a big push and advocate of the cloud. But Ron, why did you see the need to move Simple Invest desktop and Simple Ledger desktop solutions into the cloud?
Well, look, I suppose there are a number of reasons around why we did it. Firstly, I suppose from the beginning of releasing our first cloud product with Simple Fund back in 2014, we've always planned to have a non-super version of Simple Fund 360. So it's always been in the planning. We've talked about it at seminars and at RegTechs and at all sorts of things over the years. And it was, I suppose, just a matter of getting to the point where it was realistic to do that in a way that was effective and efficient. So we'd released Simple Fund 360, we'd released CAS 360 2017. So this is the next product and the final product that completes the suite. So it gives us investment platforms for super, for non-super, and gives us the corporate compliance platform. So it's always been in the works. It was just a matter of timing and how we did it and when we did it. And I suppose we needed to get to a point where we were happy with what we had with Simple Fund so that we could move some people out of those teams and get them involved in writing Simple Invest.
Yeah, certainly. Timing is certainly one of the hardest things in product, isn't it, Ron? Just getting that right timing. I think cloud adoption's very high now. Certainly when Simple Fund was released, it was in the low 20s for accountants. Not 20% of accountants were on cloud and 80% still on desktop. And do you find that now that really with the desktop products, making it easy to move to the cloud, do you think that's really contributed to this timing as well?
Oh, look, I'm sure that the easier you make it for people to get set up and running, the easier it is for people to make decisions. So we've tried with Simple Invest and certainly with Simple Fund, certainly with CAS, to try to make it as easy as possible for people to move from either our desktop products or other products to our products, and give them a migration path that makes it easy for them to retain all their data. And that's just as important with Simple Invest. We've built a process so they can grab the data out of the Simple Ledger and bring it into the cloud product, because all of that's going to be important in terms of helping people to get to the point where they can do it. And I know from my own perspective, I have a number of investment entities sitting in Simple Ledger, and I'd like to move them to Simple Invest as well, because it would make my life a whole lot easier.
Yeah, that's right. We've certainly got some good ways to move Cgt history across, which we'll touch on when we go into the demo. With putting your chartered accounting hat on, Ron, how long have you been chartered accountant now? It'd be over 40 years?
1982.
There you go, a long time. Putting your chartered accounting hat on, and I know you do a lot of the accounting work for BGL and also run your own Smsf. You certainly, walk the talk. What do you see really as a point of difference for Simple Invest 360 to some of the other solutions out there? What really makes it valuable to accountants?
Well, look, I think the first thing, and probably the most important thing from our perspective, is we built Simple Invest 360 on the basis of a double entry general ledger. And for accountants, that just means that putting in adjustments, putting in transactions can be done in any way. So you can grab them from bank statements, or you can put in journals, you can do anything you want. So I thought that with all the products that we have in the marketplace, that the Simple Fund and Simple Invest, they're both double entry general ledgers. I think that's incredibly important. The second part of it that's really important is the way that we have data feeds, and we've got over 350 data sources. The same data sources that are available in Simple Fund 360 are all available in Simple Invest 360. So that gives us about 20 odd banks direct, a whole lot of banks via all sorts of other places. We now have our smart docs technology, so we can also read bank statements. We have 150 odd brokers, all the wrap platforms, all the major wrap platforms, and a whole lot of other people who are connected to us. So I think that's the second thing that really makes Simple Invest 360 unique, is the number of data sources. And I think the final thing is the tax reporting, because that's really what it's all about. That's what accountants are looking for, is they want something that will keep the CGT history, that will track it all for them, and also give them all the tax reporting at year end, which we do exceptionally well. And we automate a lot of the tax reporting around distributions, similar to what we're doing in Simple Fund 360, where we're gives us the ability to actually process distribution tax statements. So again, that again makes life easy. And the last part of it, I suppose, is what we've built in terms of allowing us to distribute income if it's a trust or if it's a company, to handle all the different entity types. So I think they're all the things that are important. You know, it's fine having an investment product that does one entity type if that's the only entity type that was out there, and it isn't. You know, there are trusts, there are companies, there are partnerships, there are individuals, and we can handle all of those as Simple Invest 360. And that really makes it unique because it's the only product that's really built specifically around entity types.
That's right. And you only need to learn it once. Once, if you're a SMSF Simple Fund user, you can pick up Simple Invest extremely quickly.
Yeah.
It's all the same technology. With, you know, certainly with that experience, Ron, with the other one we see out there in the market is, do you see a growing need to track investments outside SMSF? Look, we've certainly seen a restriction on the 1.6 or the 1.7 now with the indexation. We've also had, you know, fairly tight caps on contributions. When you speak to accountants, are you hearing that they have got wealth more than, I guess, 20, 30 years ago outside their SMSF?
Well, we're having really at the moment, we're going through generational change around wealth. The baby boomers are getting older and passing away. I suppose I'm a baby boomer. I don't intend on passing away too quickly, but certainly baby boomers again. There's a lot of the baby boomers are starting to transfer wealth to their kids. So there's certainly all that going on at the moment, and that means that there is a lot of wealth outside super. The other I suppose thing is that the sort of assets that you have in SMSFs and the sort of assets that people have in their own name may be different. You know, look, I know I personally do quite a bit of angel investing, and I wouldn't do that through my SMSF. It's not what my SMSF is for. So when you've got assets that are outside super, you know, people are putting Bitcoin in super. I still have some concerns over that. I think it's a bit too speculative at the moment, or at least cryptocurrencies generally. Again, I have a little bit in cryptocurrencies. It's all outside super.
But it's probably the range of investments now, isn't it, as well? That's probably, you know, you just talked a few there that, you know, probably weren't as easy accessible, you know, 10, 15
Well,
years ago.
that's the other thing. You've got mortgage trusts, which are paying good returns. And yes, you can have them in your SMSF, or at least some of them, depending if you're a professional investor or not. So that's, again, a lot of that is outside super, and there are retail platforms for those sort of investments. Now, you may not wish to have them inside super. You may wish to have them outside. So look, there's a whole lot of, I suppose, assets that are asset classes that are outside the outside what you probably should have in your SMSF, but which are genuine investments that people want to put money into. You know, art is very difficult now inside SMSFs. You don't want to do that. Antiques, the same thing. It's just become too complicated. So those sort of assets, and wine even, those sort of assets you want to have outside your SMSF. Now, I've also, from a personal perspective, I've kept stuff that's tax-free outside SMSFs, because I figure if I'm going to get a high tax-free portion, then why do I want that in an SMSF where I'm being taxed at a lower rate? Why not have that outside my SMSF? And so, you know, I've sort of worked on that basis with the investments in things like property trusts, where you pick up this tax-free income. So, you know, things like, and by the way, I'm not recommending anybody invest in the classes of assets that I invest in. I'm just saying these are the sort of things that I do. And you know, it's the ability to do that within an SMSF would probably not be the right place. So
That's
it's
right.
certainly better
And
outside.
it's certainly become more complex. The rules and restrictions around artwork, as you and me would know, Ron, have become, quite stringent. You can't hang it on your walls anymore. If you have automobiles, you've got to have very strict insurance requirements. It's continuing, I guess, that path, and I guess the family trust and even the company structure is offering advantages. And that's certainly what we see. I guess this is something we've discussed a little bit briefly, Ron, but this is one of the main issues you touched on earlier, was really just this disparate software problem of having, and this is coming from a client, Paul, who's been a client with BGL for a while, really around having different solutions to manage investment trusts or investment company structures, family offices. Here you can just see bank feeds. As Ron mentioned, we've got one of the largest number of banks coming into our ecosystem. Excel, I'm sure, some people say, Ron, it was the best fintech ever invention, Excel spreadsheet. I'm sure you'll remember Lotus 123 like me, which preceded Excel. But it's not
definitely, and I would still be using it today if it was available.
I'm sure you still remember all the function keys. Shout out to all the elderly accountants. The younger ones probably have no idea what we're talking about. But, client accounting, work papers, you need to do minutes for your trusts, Ron. How would you do these without Simple Ledger or Simple Invest? You could certainly, we see a lot of people still doing them in Word using Microsoft. But really, what problem does that present, Ron?
Well, I use CAS for all of my compliance minutes, because it just generates them and makes it easy. You can do your year-end distribution minutes. You can build minutes around it, but with Simple Invest, it just makes it a bit easier.
Yeah, and look, we certainly, Simple Invest and Simple Fund integrate with CAS, so you're getting rid of that disparate software problem by using the BGL ecosystem. And then you've got the advisor side. Now, we should point out, Ron, that part of our ecosystem is bringing in all the wraps. We've got all the major wraps coming into Simple Invest and Simple Fund. So we're not, I think you've said to me before, Ron, we're not a platform. We're an accounting solution. Anything you wanted to just raise there?
No, look, I think that's really what it is. It is designed as an accounting solution, but I suppose it probably has all the advantages of what a lot of the wraps do, in terms of it collects all the assets, it produces all the reports, it gives you visibility really where everything is on a daily basis. You revalue the portfolio every day. So we've got all of those things that really make it like a platform, but it was designed as a double entry general ledger. I think that's probably the difference between Simple Invest and what the platforms and the wraps are, because none of them are double entry. They're all single entry. They're all just the collection point. So there's no balancing of things. Whereas we make sure that the bank account balances with the bank account. And we effectively, with Simple Invest, everything comes back to cash. So you've got to be able to reconcile back to the cash. And it's much easier to do that if you've got a proper double entry general ledger.
Yeah, we'll show a little bit of that double entry. Simple Fund clients will certainly be familiar with it. And also the tax recs. I see a lot of people doing those tax recs, for investment trusts in Excel spreadsheet. It's pretty high. And there are other work paper solutions out there that help with tax recs, but the best thing which we'll show you today is we've got work papers, accounting work papers built directly into Simple Invest and Simple Fund as well.
Yeah, look, I think I know from my perspective, I have up till now been using a spreadsheet to do my year-end tax recs, to come back to work out what amounts to plug into the tax return. So this is just going to make my life a lot easier.
That's right. And Ron, you touched on CAS. Really, I think that's been your vision all along, is to really have these cloud products all linking together. You've certainly told us as product managers, to have integration very tight. We've got help integrated, chat integrated, we've got contacts integrated. We just integrated now 3 digital signing solutions. So all applications can use Adobe Sign, DocuSign, and now Fuse Sign, or CAS will be Fuse Sign next month, I should say. But certainly that integration, why is that something that you're so passionate about, and what value does it really deliver?
Oh, look, it really goes back to the early 90s that we started talking about integrating practice management products with CAS at that stage, so that when there was a change in the detail of a shareholder or a director or a company in a practice management product, that came through to the corporate compliance software and produced triggers to generate documents. And really, with the cloud products, we've now made that a reality. So we've got really good integration with a number of practice management platforms, primarily Xero, but also Sage, and also, and I suppose more coming. So the whole idea is that you make a change in one place and it creates a single platform for everyone. So I change something in Xero XPM and it comes through to CAS, triggers a form that needs to be produced and updates the address of a person who's a member in a self-managed super fund, or maybe a beneficiary of a trust. So really the whole idea is to have everything integrated together so they all talk to each other. And it's really been, I suppose, one of the things that I've really pressed the product managers to make sure we get done. We set up a separate integrations team to build all that stuff, because there's a lot to build to actually connect up databases. It's not as simple as one might think. So I think it's really the dream for accountants to be able to have a single database, not have to worry about changes not getting here or not getting there, and actually have the ability to just make a change anywhere and it goes everywhere. It's really been what I've always thought was really going to be helpful for accountants.
Yeah, it's certainly something we've been working on. Single sign-on, I should say. You can log in with the same user credentials. You can invite the client once into all the various apps, or invite the auditor. So it does make a lot of sense, and you've certainly been a big proponent of that, and it's starting to come true. I guess clients, is the other big thing Ron's always taught me, is put the customer first and ensure you're doing the right thing by the customer. And I guess this, you would know both of these clients. Ron, been with BGL for a number of years. This is what really drove the team to release early and have it in beta. This is something we've had in Simple Invest in beta for over 12 months, and it's now into production. But these are the sort of 2 main things that we're seeing as the theme already. We're getting really good high net promoter scores. We've got over 300 firms. We've only been released out in the market now for just over a month, and we've got 300 firms using it. But a lot of it's just driven by customer feedback. Here, Ron, you can see that certainly reconstruction is one of those problems when you pick up a new client. And certainly some of the AI. Do you want to touch on some of the machine learning that you've invested heavily and won awards for? Yeah,
look, I think one of the things that also that makes Simple Invest unique is the way that we can get data in. The stuff that we've built around smart docs for reading bank statements and reading other document types, and there's a lot more coming in that space very soon, will just give us the ability to bring data in very quickly and easily. And that's a lot, it's all AI based. All of the posting of transactions within Simple Invest is AI based because it uses the same AI that we use in Simple Fund. We don't have as many transactions as Simple Invest yet, so it's still learning. But it does use the 1.1 or 1.2 billion transactions that we have in Simple Fund 360 to help it post things in the right places. So there's a whole lot of real smarts around AI, and yes, we've won awards twice in the last 2 years of the AFR for our AI, and hopefully this year as well we'll get listed on the top 10 technology companies. So yeah, look, the AI and what we're doing around making it easy to process is really what makes Simple Invest pretty unique. Can I just answer one question? We seem to be getting a lot of questions from people around tax return. Can we just maybe tell you what we're doing in terms of the tax return, which is pretty simple. We're building at the moment integration with a number of our partners. Xero will probably be first off the ranks, but we also have others who already have tax lodgement software. And our plan is to provide a file that can be imported into the tax return of all of these different providers. Xero will probably be through APIs, so there mightn't be a file to import. So that's the plan with tax returns. We don't have a plan at the moment to build tax lodgement within Simple Invest 360. As long as we can use the integration partners and people can bring that into their other systems, that's going to provide the sort of integration to allow people to do what they want to do.
Okay, so we've touched on the ecosystems. Certainly, as Ron mentioned, we've got over 300 ecosystem partners that link in, so that's certainly a huge advantage. The other one that we've touched on, Ron, as well, is it's certainly fairly quick to learn. Where of those 300 firms already using Simple Invest, a vast majority are using Simple Fund already. So with, I guess, being an accountant, one of the other important things is to have consistent financials and consistent reporting. Something that, you don't want to be sending out one sort of set of accounts in a different way, and your SMSF sometimes could be separated, but now you've really got that benefit of having those reports and digital signing solutions together. How do you really see, the future, I guess, of digital signing, Ron, and I guess financial reporting?
Look, I think this is one of the reasons that we built the platform, was to provide consistency across all entity types. For clients that are using Simple Fund, so they can use Simple Invest for their non-super entities. It sort of makes sense. And the digital signing is important because there's stuff that needs to be signed in all environments, be it a tax return summary in Simple Invest, be it distribution minutes, be it whatever it happens to be. Obviously in Simple Fund, there's member statements could be signed, there's minutes, there's accounts, there's audit reports, there's all sorts of things. So the whole idea of having a consistent platform for everything that we do is something that's very important, and having products that all look alike is also is important, because then you just do learn once. One of the things we did do, Matt, when we released Simple Invest 360, was we gave all Simple Fund 360 clients 5 funds for free for 2.5 months up to the end of August. So if you're a Simple Fund client, this gives you the ability to try the product and see if you like it. If you don't like it, that's fine. At the end of August, we'll drop the 5 for people that aren't using them. But for people that are using them, we'll then give them the ability to pay for them and to become a Simple Invest client. So the whole idea is we want people to try it and see if they like it. We think it's going to save you a lot of time and effort. I know that it will, because I know I've played with it for my own stuff. I think that's all what it's about. In terms of getting to the data, you've got the ability to provide the same access that you provide for people with Simple Fund. So you can give your clients logins. They can use. It's really easy for them to get to the data. They can. The mobile app, I think, is available for Simple Invest.
That's right. Yep,
well.
mobile
So
is available, so they can track their investments.
Yep,
they can share client queries, outstanding queries.
Yeah, and they can look at that every day. So all of that functionality that we've built in Simple Fund 360 is in Simple Invest 360. And just makes it easier. And if you've got advisors who want to look at the data, well, you can give them access to look at it every day. I think one of the nice things with Simple Invest and Simple Fund as well is because it's a single platform. We don't have a separate viewing app and a separate mobile app and a separate this and a separate that. It all comes from the same place. Then it means that you're getting consistent data across all of your access points for everybody who's using it.
Yeah, certainly a good point with advisors. We're certainly not getting into doing statement of advices or anything like that, but it's certainly the investment data, the underlying CGT data, and certainly the tax data, if your advisor's tax savvy, is all available there and can be integrated. The API, Ron, just while I jump into more of a live demo, you've mentioned integration, but do you want to just touch on that?
Yeah, look, certainly in terms of the API for Simple Invest, it's exactly the same as the API for Simple Fund. So we've built this API, and really because the database is the same and a lot of the endpoints are the same, it just depends on what data you get.
And
So
that API, what do you see, I guess, from an accountant perspective, what's the real value there to our accounting clients with sharing that data with other apps? What do you really see?
well, look, I'll give you one example. I suppose a simple one is My Prosperity users who have got an app that really puts together all of the investments for a particular client. You've got the ability to use the API to integrate with people outside who need to get access to the data. We'll soon be releasing integration with Ava, which is a platform that will bring together all of the portfolios. So if you want to see if you've got a client who's got maybe a trust, an investment company, and an SMSF, and you want to see their whole of investment position, you'll be able to get a single view of that through Ava and single reports of that. So that's coming out reasonably soon. So there's a whole lot of stuff like that just using the APIs gives you the ability to get data out in different ways for different purposes.
Yeah, it's certainly that integration piece, not just integrating with BGL apps, but other best of breed, as you've mentioned before. All right, so we're right on track. We've got about 15 minutes to do a bit of a demo, and feel free to jump in here, Ron, if there's anything you want to mention. We like to show software during demos. Ron and me, I certainly wanted to get you guys to understand where it comes from the CEO right through the product manager, where our drive to build these products is, but it's important also to show you the product, which we find unusual sometimes that people don't show product. We love our product, we're proud of it. When you first come into the software, it is now, as Ron mentioned, Ron's given every BGL cloud client, so if you're an SMSF, Simple Fund 360 client or a KS client, you have got 5 free entities. So you can just right now come into our entity workflow. It used to be called fund workflow, but it's called entity workflow. And you can start adding up to 5 different companies or trusts or individuals in the software. So if you haven't seen this dashboard, I can now view my trusts. You don't have to do anything. We made it frictionless. You don't even need to ring us up to make it available. You can go in and start adding them straight away up until, as Ron mentioned, 31st of August. The end of August, it will basically no longer be free, and then you'll need to update your subscription up here in the top right. But at the moment, you can, Ron's been very generous. He wants you to try it, so do make use of it. But I can select the trusts here. I can basically see all the different individuals, company structures. You can set up a partnership as 2 individual entities or as a trust. And it handles all the CGT. That is where all your SMSFs are still located, and you can quickly switch. So I'm going to join into a trust, a fairly common type of trust. This is a discretionary trust. When I select that, you'll see the software basically updates. It's gone into a darker blue mode. You're now effectively still in the BGL ecosystem, but you've got a very tailored, specific to the trusts. If I was selecting the company, you'd see a company dashboard, an individual dashboard. Here I can quickly see my investments. I can view how many unmatched transactions there are. I can see my work papers. I can set up my data feed. So as Ron mentioned, we've got the same powerful data feeds, over 300. We're the only ones with registry integration with all 3 providers, Computershare, Link, and the third one escapes me. Ron, help me out.
Link, Boardroom, and
Boardroom, thank you. Link, Computershare, and Boardroom all integrate into our Simple Invest solution as well as all the different bank feed providers. And as Ron mentioned, you can do client queries here. So you can see if your client's got any outstanding or you want to share unmatched transactions with them that you can't figure out where to code them. You can share them here and view them in our client query. It used to be called trustee query, but now we support all entities. It's called client query. So this gives you a quick snapshot. You can add notes here, review or something for next year, put all those in here. And then once you've selected your trust, you can obviously put in all the trust details. As I said, you can support all different types of trusts. We support testamentary trusts. We can upload your trust deeds here. Anything to do with trust, we can make it very quick to set up. We can pull the trust data in from CAS, so all the standing information, names, addresses, all that information, same for company data, can be pulled in for the trusts. Set up all your relationships. It's very easy to use. It's just drag and drop. I can just put a tax agent in here, bang, get rid of this one. It's all drag and drop. All stuff that we've been building with Simple Fund is all familiar. So that's the trust relationship screen. With a trust, we've also got, this is a discretionary trust. I can handle unit trusts. This one is set up as a discretionary. As I said, we can handle testamentary trusts, all different types of trusts. Add a beneficiary is very quick. Here I can see ages very quickly. It's important for those running family trusts. If someone starts turning or getting into 18, 19 years, you can distribute more to them. Someone gets into pension age, you've got to be careful about distributing them. So we try to make this very clear. You can see last year's distributions, haven't distributed this current year, when they joined, all this sort of stuff at your fingertips. As Ron mentioned, our machine learning is a big point of difference. What really made us become #1 in the SMSF space is also why wouldn't we be using it in our Simple Invest space? So here I've uploaded some investment type data, and this is where our machine learning kicks in. It's basically suggesting the transactions. Yes, we've got a lot of rules and automation underneath. Dividends get matched, share trades get matched automatically. I don't need to deal with them. But sometimes you may not have a share feed. It's not the perfect world that us software guys tell you that everything just magically gets automated. So this is where machine learning can really make some of that magic happen, where here you'll see something like a purchase of Tesla shares. I was going to say Telstra. Purchase of Tesla shares, and I don't have a share feed for this. So one of the great things machine learning can do is it basically says, I've seen a lot of these transactions. A lot of you millennials are buying Tesla shares because you think it's going to save the world. This is not advice, but it will automatically populate from the narration only, the dates, the considerations. It'll set up the investment code automatically. So that's where machine learning just takes away all these little niggly steps. You know, trying to do that in another general ledger software or something that's not investment specific would be a lot of steps. So I can just quickly match that. That's what machine learning does. ASIC fees, it knows what ASIC fees look like. It's seen enough of them. As Ron said, there's billions of transactions in the database. It's not rocket science. It's really just mathematics, how we code this and get the machine learning to make the predictions. You can swap bank accounts. One of the things I like to show people is how to import data. If you don't have a bank feed or you want to get set up quickly, unfortunately, some of the bank providers don't give you access to the bank feeds until you sign up. So you might be having a gap there. So I can jump in here and just upload a Bank of Melbourne entry. So I'm just grabbing a statement and I'll just confirm that. Again, this is where machine learning kicks in. We can read a bank statement. We've got enough of them now. Here I've sanitized it so you can't see, but it's a real bank statement. It brings those transactions into the system. Huge time saver, don't you think, Ron?
Oh, look, the work that the guys have done around building automation with bank statements is world class. There's nobody else that does it. And, you know, the nice thing is here, if you click on a transaction on the screen, it will also show you that transaction and highlighted on the bank statement on the PDF. That sort of technology, and vice versa, you know, that sort of technology is just second to none. So it makes it really easy to bring in transactions from really anywhere. And it doesn't just need to be a bank statement. It could be something else as well.
That's right. And you'll see there it's highlighting 30th of June. Any accountant will know 30th of June is a critical date to do a bank rec. We're actually getting the machine learning to read the 30th of June date and put that into the work papers as well. So it just gets smarter and smarter. So we can just create that. It comes in and then starts using, so it's machine learning, driving machine learning. It then starts guessing where those transactions are based on the transactions in the fund. The next thing I wanted to show you, there's really just too much to show you in the time frame I've got, but certainly Ron touched on the advisor side. So this is something we've been beefing up in the SMSF space to get ready. The Simple Fund guys have been beefing up the investment reporting so you can track your investments over 6 months, 5 years, maximum period. We've done a lot of work around time-weighted calcs. So you can basically see how the different investments are performing. Time-weighted is generally in the advisor space one of the most reliable, consistent ways to record investment performance. It gets rid of if you're doing a lot of trading, buying and selling within the year, and it also manages if you're doing a lot of holding to really have a comparable rate of return. So you can break those down. That's all available in our mobile solution as well. And then you can also, you know, keep track of your investment strategy. Not as critical for trusts. Some family trusts and the closely held trusts might have specific investment structures, or testamentary trusts might have restrictions, but you can certainly see the investment structure around there as well. The next thing I wanted to jump into, and this is really, I'm going back a long time here, Ron, but when I was an accountant, one of the things that blew my mind when I first saw Simple Fund Desktop was the year-end entry process. I was working as an accountant in South Melbourne here and I saw someone showed me a demo of early Simple Fund Desktop and the year-end entry process. It just blew my mind how much time it saved in terms of calculating the tax, generating the tax return, or the annual return as it's now called. We leveraged off that same value add here with our Simple Invest solution as well. We don't call it create entries, Ron, but we do call it, we've modernized it, we call it start year-end workflow. So what I can do here is do an accounting tax rec straight on screen. So I can add particular items. You can see here, I've got my accounting trust distribution come in. I've got some foreign income in the labels. I can add in, you know, some particular items that might be tax only. Put that directly in the screen. So, you know, some of these aren't accounting entries, so I can put those directly into the tax return or the tax rec. Tax adjustments here I can do as well. Some of these early stage investor tax offsets, you might have some of those wrong. So you can whack those in directly into the screen. You can do reserving, and then I'm just going to save and post that. This is just incredible. I don't think you've probably even seen this, Ron, yet, but we can now do streaming as well. So here's my beneficiaries, which I showed you earlier. I've got a company in here. I'm streaming some income to a company, and I've got two residents here. If they're non-residents, you'd see that here. And yes, I could just do a basic distribution here and just do a percentage. You know, maybe I just want to go, you know, there's not too much income, so I'm going to get up to the 30 cents and 28 as it's now in a company. You know, and I'll distribute, you know, something simple, maybe 20 and 20 here. I don't want to upset the Smith brothers. So I give them an equal share. That's basic trust distribution, and then you can fill out and everyone gets a different share. If you want to do something more sophisticated, you can do income streaming now. So this is where you want to stream some frank distribution, you know, franking credits, they've already got tax paid on them. I can basically, you know, stream those through to the company. Maybe I want to stream the majority of those franking credits through to Gary, the higher taxable income. So I'm going to give him some franking credits. I'm going to give 30% here. Discounted gains, maybe John, he's the one, he's got a lower taxable income. So I'm going to distribute the capital gains to him. Okay, so that's the power of what you've got here to basically stream these through to the member. It's got a rounding issue, always end up with some slight rounding issues, so you can adjust that here, all on screen. Oh, I've got to adjust that one, is it? Then I can auto-fill that, and it shows me basically what you'd see in your tax return now. So you can see all the share of income. What that is basically allowed you to stream that through, and I can post that and the journals will go through. And I've pretty much done most of my tax rec work now and most of my accounting work. It's going to do all the journals. It's going to post the accounting journals. It's going to post the tax entries into the tax rec. And then I can start getting my distribution statements, my statement of taxable income. Okay, there's my statement of tax income. No more Excel. Do it all in here. Your tax rec's all done, all on screen. Beneficiaries. So you got your distribution summary. So all that's reported. You can then use that to fill in your tax return. As Ron said, we're certainly going down that tax path to do a full tax rec as well. So that goes through and goes through each taxable income item. And we can do this for companies. We can do this for individuals as well. We are focused on the investment side. So the other things, you know, that we do very, very automated is foreign currency translation. We can convert with all the data in the foreign currencies. We can convert any bank statement into AUD. The other thing for the simple fund users, you'll certainly be familiar, is all the corporate actions. So those corporate actions basically can be processed very quickly. Those that haven't seen the BGL products, you can basically get all the corporate actions like a DRP and just process those very efficiently. So that's where the time saving comes in. It's geared towards investments with the corporate actions. We've also got the trust distribution automation. So if you've got any trust distributions coming through from ETFs or managed funds, we speed up that as well. It'll basically fill in the different tax components for that to expand and show you the tax components so they can be sped up as well. Once you've done that, you'd normally go either produce your financials, being your reporting screen. But I'm going to just jump into work papers because this is super powerful, right? We've not just got a great general ledger system with great corporate actions and automation around the tax, but we've also got an incredibly sophisticated accounting work paper solution here as well. So here you can upload all your documents. Okay, so you've got it is a general ledger. It's a chart of accounts. It only shows the accounts that have got transactions. If I scroll down here to 604, it's telling me straight away, there's a warning, I've got a credit balance here. Okay, I can attach a document. I'm just going to try to attach that one I had before, that bank statement. So I can upload a 30th of June bank statement in here. Right, I can preview that at any point in time. I can attach it to the individual I can add it here, and I can add a confirmation as well that, you know, the bank balance was confirmed. You can just say, you know, PDF, and that's the one we're automating, where we're actually reading the PDFs. And here you'll actually see, because they uploaded that Bank of Melbourne one, it's actually identifying the 30th of June does not match. Okay, so that's where we're using machine learning as well. I can tick off a few checkboxes and go to the next work paper. The next one I wanted to show you with work papers was just the investments. As we said, this is really geared towards investments. Here, it's showing me a warning as an accountant that, hey, I haven't processed these corporate actions. Also, as I mentioned earlier, we're linking into registry. So it's linking in and saying, hey, this doesn't match. This statement balance that you've got here, Matt, for Flight Centre and Altium is not matching. So I can go and run a report, which is checking to registry. So it's showing me the warnings, and it will show the difference between the registry provider here, this case Computershare, and what's in the general ledger. So less chance, if you're a reviewer, for a junior accountant or a younger accountant to make mistakes. You can quickly review them here. We're identifying it. We're making use of those integrations directly in the work papers. I don't think anyone's doing that to the level we are. So that's your work papers. There's a whole heap of other stuff. As I said, you can attach documents, you can put checklists in here, you can do reviews, you can export these out, the whole document pack, the whole reports. When you run this, it also refreshes. So if I've changed anything in the balance sheet, it'll change. Let's change something in administration costs or bank charges. I can always go into the general ledger and edit that transaction directly. So this is what Ron talks about. This same thing we had in our desktop products, where you can edit the transactions directly. It is a double entry system. That's what the transactions look like. So the last thing I wanted to show you, and we'll probably wrap it up, that was work papers. We have got a full document solution here as well. And I just wanted to show you the digital signing. So this is some documents I sent out before, which were sent out for digital signing, and they've been viewed and signed. It's going to open hopefully with Firefox. Yep, hopefully you can see it's brought up the different document. This one here is the one I meant to show you. So this is the financial accounts that are produced out of the system. So these can be digitally signed. Things like the memorandum will need a digital signature. So what we've made is those are very simple to be able to be signed. So we go into our report screen. This is our report pack where we've created a client pack that we need to sign. We need to get these trustee resolutions signed. So I click digital signing. It's got a compilation report and a trustee res that needs to be signed. Using FewSign, which is just our new integration. We added last Thursday. If you haven't seen that, that's now available. I can turn on SMS authentication, and I can also upload, this is a new feature for the Simple Fund clients, we can upload third-party documents now. So I can upload, you know, maybe I don't know, a tax planning report into that pack as well. So that's outside. The software, I can order that. Let's try that once more. And I can order that into the pack as well. And then confirm. This is the email that gets sent out that I can edit. Click the wrong button there. Confirm that, send the email, and that's it. We've basically automated your digital signing so that the minutes and the resolutions will now get digitally signed by the client, and they come back into that document screen. So it was super powerful how integrated this solution really is. You can customize a lot of the letters, the minutes. You've got a lot of investment reporting here. Ron, I'm going to keep talking, but I better slow it down because we are approaching the end of the demo. You can see I get rather excited and how much we've built here, but anything you wanted to touch on there, Ron, that you don't think I've covered?
No, I think you've covered pretty well all of it. I think something that's really important is the ability to verify your listed investments back to registry. So that's a unique feature that's in both Simple Fund and Simple Invest. 360 gives you the ability to confirm your balances, especially useful in Simple Fund 360 because it means the auditor doesn't have to guess, doesn't have to go and look. It's all there within the software to tell you that it's all integrated, that it's all confirmed, that the balances are confirmed, and when there are any differences. So again, that's very useful in the Simple Invest environment to see if there's any differences and make sure that you get your data correct. The ability to digitally sign documents, resolutions, distribution statements, whatever it happens to be, just makes this product unique. Again, I don't know of another product in the marketplace that allows digital signing through a double entry general ledger that does investment reporting and investment tracking. I don't think anybody else has those sort of features and functionality. So it really does make Simple Invest 360 pretty unique. And you've got to remember, of course, this product's still in its infancy. So we've got a long way to go before it will get to any sort of maturity. So there's a lot more to come.
Yeah, thanks, Ron. So we just saw a question there. How do I add entities? So if you're a Simple Fund client and you're listening in, all you have to do, don't have to contact us, don't have to do anything, but do it before the end of August. Go in here, add a new entity. So I'll just go back. Click here. So you're in, this is the first screen you come into when you log in. Click add new entity here. And here, you only used to have SMSF. This is where you add a trust, a company, an individual. So that's all you need to do. You can import that from CAS. So it saves you a lot of time in setup into implementing it. You can import your companies from CAS as well. So that's just linking in and bringing in your company data and just sets up all this basic information. But that's where Ron has been very generous to basically give you free access for 5 entities. So most people, we know this time of year, you're evaluating software, you're looking forward to the next year, and certainly the planning is important around this July period. So really have a look. I was going to say do yourself a favor, but no, that's a catch cry of someone else. But certainly have a look at it. It's there. It's only going to be free for so long. Ron's generosity doesn't extend past August. We've got to make money at the same time to develop this machine learning and develop all these solutions. But that's how you do it. Okay. If you're not a cloud client, just reach out to our account managers or jump on our website. Just type in Simple Invest into the website. And I think that's pretty much it. The last thing I just wanted to finish up, Ron, was what a lot of people say, oh, it's hard to get my CGT data in. It's hard to get my history in. Well, have a look at this. We've made it easy. I'll just run this video. And Ron, maybe you want to step us through it. Hopefully you can see that. This is a Cgt History Schedule. So we're reading.
Yep, you can import this straight into Simple Invest 360 or Simple Fund 360. It will then read the schedule and create the transactions. And like you saw with the bank statements, you can click on one and it picks it up on a parcel level. You can click on a parcel here and you can see that parcel in the PDF. So it's actually a brilliant use of the technology to make it easy to bring in all your investment history. Makes it really easy.
Yep, so we can bring this in from Simple Ledger. If you've got a heap of CGT history in Simple Ledger and you don't want to, you're scared about bringing all that history in, well, you can now bring this in. You just run a PDF report, upload that PDF, and then we create all the chart of accounts, all the investment history comes through. You can do it with our competitors, which I won't mention, but two of our competitors run unrealized CGT reports, so we can bring that data in as well. And certainly we're looking, if you guys have got sort of CGT history and other solutions, let me know. Let Andrew know in the questions if you've got a lot of CGT history to bring in. Send us some PDFs. Send us your Excel spreadsheets. We can try to automate that.
Somebody's just asked that question. Can you import from a spreadsheet? The answer is yes.
Yeah, you can certainly
do that already. There's a number of different ways to do that within the software. Yeah,
and this screen here, Andrew's listening in, but we are looking to make, even if it's manual data entry, this screen here. So that's the next sort of project here. This one here, even if you don't have it in Excel, we're going to try to make this a very fast import wizard as well. So that's something we're looking at. So really, CGT history, we're really making it frictionless to bring in that data.
That's also available. The ability to do all this is also available in Simple Fund 360. So it's not exclusive to Simple Invest 360. It's across the platform in both products. And we've got the ability to import CSV files, and we've had that for quite a long time in Simple Fund. So we've just extended that to Simple Invest.
Yeah, that's certainly the main things I wanted to cover today. The last slide was really the pricing. Ron, do you want to touch on this?
Yeah, look, it's reasonably simple. It's $100 an entity and $40 for the bank data and $40 for the share data pack. So if you've got a fund that's using ANZ as its bank and using a couple of brokers to share transactions, it will cost you $180 per entity per annum. And volume pricing does apply if you've got more than, I think it's 250 entities and 750 entities, you get the volume breaks that we similar to what we have in Simple Fund. And the volume pricing, in fact, applies over the two products together. So if you've got, say, 100 or 200 200 super funds and 100 trusts, you'll get the volume pricing over the 300 entities together. So we've built our systems to handle that. And so it's pretty simple. If you've got a Macquarie feed and you don't have any other banks in there, it's $100 plus the share data pack if you want the share data. So it basically starts at $100 per entity and goes up depending on what options you want to add on. So we've tried to keep it very simple.
It's very simple and very flexible. You know, if you've got, as Ron mentioned, if you've got different types of investment vehicles, if you've just got a lot of property, then you might just get the software in a bank feed. If you've got a lot of share trades, then you'll get the share pack, and that includes the registry and the broker automation. Or if you've got just wraps only, then you only need the $100. We don't charge for the use of free data, which wraps provided to us for free. So,
we also don't charge a percentage on assets.
That's right. We certainly don't charge a percentage on assets. So if you're a high net worth individual, don't panic. We're not going to go down that path. We're a software company, and obviously we've just got to keep our server costs and our Amazon costs and our developer costs all under control. So that's really it. As I said, Ron's been very generous, given all our cloud clients 5 free entities up until the 31st of August. Just jump into the software, log in as normal, and just add an entity. If you don't come back to me on support and say, I don't know how to add entity, I showed you to add entity. Just add entity. There's really just these 2 steps: add new entity and then just choose the trust. The rest you'll just find very intuitive. If you're not a cloud client, then just reach out to our website or our account managers that you should be in contact with, and they can set you up for a demo. If you're moving from Ledger or something like that, they can set you up until 31st of August. That's pretty much it, Ron.
Yes.
Thank you very much for your time. I know you're a busy man.
Look, and thank you to everybody for coming along this morning. I think we've had 100 people or more than 100 people here for most of the webinar. It's great to see, and look, try it. That's really what it's all about at this point in time, is try it and see what it will do for your practice, for your business, to make your lives easier in handling investment entities or non-super entities.
All right, so we'll finish up there. We are going to run more of these sessions, so jump on our website for more. We're going to do some deep dives, and then we're going to do a couple more in invest sessions. But give us your feedback. We want to certainly try to improve this and certainly improve the product as well. So thank you very much for your time today, guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Ron.